To see the full changes in AppInternals 10.10, go to Resources, What's New, and look at the list of changes. For this video, we'll concentrate on some of the visible changes that exist in AppInternals 10.10. Let's have a look at Docker monitoring. First step is to install the agent on the Docker host, which I've done in advance. Next step will be to make sure that I have a configuration and a mapping that will fit my containers. So I copied my default configuration here, and I have an initial mapping template. Keep in mind, it's under OPT panorama heads up and then user data config. So that's where I downloaded my default config. And now I'll just take my initial mapping and create a copy of it and remove the template suffix. In our case, the images are Apache Tomcat. So we'll just unremark the include and make sure we reference the right configuration and then continue to the next steps. We have a new executable, create Docker file in the agent bin directory. It will create a Docker file for us. We'll just choose a location. What we're doing here is pretty much taking our existing image and converting it into an instrumented image. So I need to reference my image. I just chose the Dell Tomcat image. In my case, I'm not sure if it has a user command. If it does, just put a username. And that's it. To create the instrumented image, just run this command. This script is adding everything that's necessary. Let's see our new image. This is my new image, pretty much the original name -instrument. And now all I have to do is run the container. Notice that we have to mount the panorama directory. If you're using Swarm, you want to use the mount flag. In this case, it's a simple host. We'll just run with -v. We can now switch to the UI, see the server, the running containers, and the data from the instrumentation. With AppInternals 10.10, we can now send SNMP notifications. You configure SNMP. Give the right information for address, port, version, community, and username and password if needed. In this case, I'm choosing the simplest configuration. And then you send a test. We're sending inform requests so we can get acknowledgement and save. Then go to configure, alert definition. For simplicity, I'm going to choose environmental alert. And you turn on the SNMP alert and press save. On the SNMP receiver side, we can see the inform. And we can see an SNMP notification about environmental alert. In 10.10, we can now alert on exception count, thresholds, transactional, and choose exception as a metric to alert on. Set the right thresholds and save. I set the thresholds a little bit lower so we can see some alerts and notifications. I have some exceptions on my login transaction. I can see transactional alert in recent alerts and see the alert history. Another capability that we added at 10.10 is the ability to get geographical location from transaction trace data. My ThreadFast application is running with default configuration that does not collect end-user data. So we're not using the beacon, but we're still seeing geographical location. If we look in the Geography tab, we can actually see the time where I turned on end-user experience monitoring and then turned off end-user experience monitoring. If I zoom in on time frame without end-user experience monitoring, you can see that I don't have page load time and page load count. The information that's coming from JavaScript injection is not there, and yet geography is there. Locations are showing up. Note that you need to change top transaction type from page load time, page load count to server response time and transactions. The next thing to show is portal integration. I have a fresh portal installation here with no data sources. And I will connect my Still Central SaaS account to this portal. Choose Add, AppInternals, hostname stillcentral.net, give it a description, give it a username, and give it a password. Now, one important thing, when you log to Still Central SaaS, if you're prompted to select an account, you belong to more than one company. If you want to see both of them, you need to create two data sources. If I want to add this account, I go to Accounts and copy the company ID. Now again, this is only if you're prompted to select account. If you're not prompted to select account, you just use your email address without the company ID. And press connect. We're connected successfully, and we have Still Central SaaS connected. We have a successful connection. I can go to stillcentral.net. I can look at my APM overview and use Still Central SaaS like any other data source and portal. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you very much for your time.